that sounds pretty interesting. You said the biblical creation. You're saying that Adam and Eve.
Well, I'm saying everything. Adam and Eve would be the origin of man. So, like, for instance, the science world says that man evolved over hundreds of thousands, even billions of years from, crawling out of the pond scum to becoming, finally monkeys, and monkeys evolved humans. I don't believe that, but to me, it's complete nonsense. It takes more faith to believe that than it does biblical creation or origin of man. But then, of course, I don't believe in Big Bang Theory either, that nothing exploded and created everything. The biblical model of creation is a three-tiered system, basically. And again, this is what the Bible teaches. It teaches the shape of the earth is flat with contour, that under the earth is hell, that's down. The earth is set upon pillars. It does not move. It does not spin. It does not fly. And there is a dome over it. There's a crystalline glass dome in which the stars are attached, and above that is where the throne of God is and where he sits.
Interesting. What's that? So, flat earth? Round?
Well, yeah. In the shape of the earth, the Bible, Job 38, when God speaks to Job, he tells him the shape of the earth. He says the earth is, a lot of people take the word circle and think that he means it's a ball. Never in Scripture does God ever describe the earth as a ball, ever. He describes it as a circle that he engraved upon the face of the deep. So it is a flattish circle. We don't know how deep it is. We don't know how deep it goes because the Russians they've dug the deepest hole. It's about 8 miles deep. That's it. That's as far down as we've been able to go. But yes. And it's covered by the sky. The Bible talks about there's three heavens. One is the atmosphere in which the birds and fly in our air is. The other is a solid, crystalline, molten glass-like dome that covers it. And above that, the throne of God sits. Now, I know we've been told these lies from NASA and all this stuff for all of our lives, but NASA lies about a lot of things. And again, you cannot believe the biblical account and the world's account. They're completely opposed to one another.
So, I remember at school people thought, does it wrap around or does the water just go off? What happens?
No. See, and again, that's different. You've got the Flat Earth Society, right? And they're crazy. They've got these weird models that make no sense. God said that he engraved or carved a circle upon the face of the deep. If you look, remember, water has to have a container. And this is two things we know about water. Number one, water has to have a container. Number two, it always finds its level, always. If water undisturbed was going to go, and it's going to be, we use it in levels to level walls and when we're building stuff. So it's always going to go to level. So water has to have a container, just like the gas in our atmosphere has to have a container. It makes no sense to say we have hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. We have basically a gaseous atmosphere up against a negative 17 torr vacuum, and it doesn't get sucked off the planet without a barrier of some kind. So we've been told a lot of stuff that doesn't even make sense with science. But if you think about it, in the biblical model, the Bible talks about the ends of the earth over and over and over again. You don't fall off because, number one, when you get to the ends of the earth, basically any direction 180 degrees from the North Pole is south. Okay, and once you go south, you're going to hit a 200-foot ice wall called Antarctica. Now they say it's a continent on the bottom, but it's actually goes all the way around. It's a 200-foot ice wall, and that's what holds that's the container for the oceans. And God said he set a barrier for the oceans where they could go no further. Well, we know he's not talking about the beaches because sometimes we have hurricanes and tsunamis and things where the water goes further than the beaches. So he talks about there's a barrier. But this is something, look, I spent the last, 6-7 years now researching and documenting and going through the real science. For instance, we've gone to Mobile Bay. Well, I can take you down to Mobile Bay right now. I've got high zoom cameras. We got telescopes, lasers. We've done tests down there. I've had ex-military officers with me, geometry teachers, engineers. The curvature rate of the earth is supposed to be, if it's a ball of 24,901 miles in circumference, the math doesn't lie. It's 8 inches per mile squared is how much it's supposed to curve. All right. So that means, for instance, at 10 miles, the earth should curve 666, or not 600, but 66.6 feet, which is about a 7-story building. So meaning like this, if I'm over here and 10 miles is over here, then this curve bulge should be at its peak, should be a 7-story building. So I should not see anything 10 miles away that is not higher than a 7-story building. Do you understand? All right. Well, you can stand. We go to North Beach Park in Fairhope, right? If you look back from the east side of the bay, if you look due west, there's the state docks there, right? And they've got the big 12-foot and 16-foot blue spools that they have the cables on that they use to unload the ships with. But those are sitting on the dock. The dock's 10 feet off the water. The spools are 12 to 16 feet high. I've got video and pictures of the dock and the spools sitting on the dock. Meaning there's no way I should see that if the earth is curving, and actually it's 11 miles away there. So it's even more than a 7-story building. And for instance, you can stand in that beach in Fairhope and you can look back north and you can see the I-10 bridge that goes across the bay. I'm sure you've been across through the tunnel and over the bridge, right? All right. That bridge sits 16 feet off the water. I called the Alabama Department of Transportation. 16 feet. I can see the bridge and I can see cars going across the bridge 10 miles away. Now, if the earth curves and water and the oceans and everything curves with it, then I shouldn't be able to see the bridge. I shouldn't be able to see the cars. Shouldn't be able to see anything. So that's one of the biggest proofs is long distance photography now has proved that the earth does not curve like we've been told.
So can you still sail around the earth though?
It's no different going around a ball than it is going around a circle. I have a map in here. You basically go around. It's like going around your neighborhood. You can start in one place, do a circle around your neighborhood, and come back to the same place. You don't have. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, I follow you.
There's never been 360 north-south navigation. That's never happened. Matter of fact, you can watch flight radar stuff, and you can see it there too. I mean, there's just so much. That's why my book's 479 pages, brother. It's a lot of information. And I've interviewed. Well, I mean, here's one of the biggest clues to let you know. I've interviewed Navy missile instructors. A guy named Sean. I talked to him for over 2 hours. He's a whistleblower basically on this, but he taught our Navy guys how to fire the Sparrow missile system. And he said that number one, he said that he has optics that he can put line of sight on a ship 60 miles away. If the Earth's a ball, that's impossible. And then he told me that his ship also has a laser weapon that can shoot down a Russian cruise missile that flies 50 feet off the water. He said that cruise missile is coming in, Mach 2, Mach 3, Mach 4. He said, we have to shoot that down over 100 miles away or it's going to hit our ship because it's moving so fast. He said, we can shoot it down with a laser. Now, laser doesn't curve, brother. A laser weapon is straight line of sight. He said, we shoot it down over 100 miles away and it's 50 feet off the water. He said, so you tell me, do you know how 100 miles, how much of a curve bulge is supposed to be there?
No, I don't.
6,666 feet. That's almost a mile and a half.